What did you make of Golden State winning game 4 and tying up the series against the Kings at 2 games apiece?
This was a statement game because in the first half, it really looked like Sacramento was not going to run away with it, but it looked like they were just making the right plays, hitting some timely shots. De'Aaron Fox had 21 in the first half. It was just looking like Sacramento was going to find a way to have one of those, let's just take over bit by bit, piece by piece. And then Golden State responds in the third quarter like they always do in the majority of their games and pops off for 37 points, and they limit Sacramento to 23. I think the reason for that change was they put Draymond Green to start the half as he came off the bench for the first time since 2014 in his career in the playoffs. So that was kind of a nice change. They put Draymond Green on De'Aaron Fox to where I think De'Aaron Fox only had 5 or 6 points in that third quarter. They really limited him. They really shut him out. He got cold. Sacramento had to rely on some other players to kind of step up for them, to which they did slightly. But again, 37-23, clearly in favor of the Warriors. But then it flipped again because in the fourth quarter, the Kings bounced back for 33 in the fourth quarter, and Golden State's held to 24. Steph almost loses them the game by calling a timeout when Golden State doesn't have any. Steve Kerr makes a stupid challenge on I believe, a charge attempt on Kevon Looney, or oh
He
no, an
was setting a
offensive.
pick. He was
He
setting
was
a
setting a
pick.
pick, and they called offensive, and Looney put his shoulder into him. I thought that was a very, very, very stupid challenge by Steve Kerr with only one timeout left to challenge and risk that. Kind of dumb, but I mean, Golden State holds on, man. They find a way. Steph just pops off for 32. Klay Thompson goes for 26. Jordan for 22. Wiggins for 18. And then Draymond Green goes for a very inefficient 12. He was 3 of 14 from the field, but he had 10 boards, 7 assists, a steal, and a key block on Domantas Sabonis in the fourth quarter, to where he was screaming at the top of his lungs, staring him in the soul, obviously probably hinting at, this is what you get for getting me suspended. But the series was getting chippy. De'Aaron Fox and Draymond Green were chirping back and forth in the second half at one point when there was a foul exchange. Alex Len was getting in the middle of it. I mean, like, every single person in this series is just going back and forth. Obviously, Harrison Barnes won a ring with the Warriors in 2015, so he knows the team very well. Mike Brown was the former assistant coach for the Warriors. So there is some internal chemistry on both sides. And then you just kind of look at it and say, Golden State was down 2-0. The narrative was, are they done? Can they handle it? Can Golden State even find a way to make this competitive? And they win both at home. Albeit they tried very hard to give this to the Kings because Harrison had a pretty good look for 3 to win the game. He just shot it a little bit too hard where it hits off the back rim. But I'm looking at this and I'm saying, this is why I say Draymond Green is so pivotal to the Warriors, because he can bring the ball up the floor. You know that he can score in the paint. Obviously, again, it wasn't a very efficient night, but those 3 baskets were very, very timely. And then you talk about what Draymond Green is able to do, court vision. I mean, 7 assists. There were a couple times where he made some passes and people just happened to miss some shots. So he was 3 assists shy of a triple-double again. And he just brings the spark, the energy, the charisma. A lot of people don't like Draymond because he trash talks. A lot of people don't like him because of his attitude. But what he's able to do for the Warriors in that system is irreplaceable. Yes, they won game 3 and they blew them out. I feel like that was a back to the wall. No matter who's here and who's not, we got to ball out. We don't have a choice, because if we go down 3-0, the odds are very slim. I think that him being inserted really helped them push their motivation, push their mentality past their limits to say, he's here to help. We got to do this, and we got to step up and find ways to win games. So it was just an incredible game. And I mean, like, literally back and forth and back and forth. Davion Mitchell made some good stops at some points against Steph Curry. He's a great defender, Donovan Mitchell's younger brother. Obviously, Domantas Sabonis had an okay game. I mean, Sabonis goes for 14, 7, and 8, but I don't know. There were some instances where he was just, the Warriors were able to predict his movements very well. And what I mean by that is there was an instance where Draymond absorbs a charge, or excuse me, Kevon Looney absorbs a charge, sliding in front, where Sabonis kind of just throws his shoulder into him and it's a clear charge. The Warriors were really putting him in some tough situations to have to make some calls. And it ended up panning out. The one thing I will say, they got to guard Keegan Murray. The rookie popped off for 23 points, goes 5 of 7 from 3. And I mean, like, there was one point where it looked like he wasn't going to miss. So the Warriors got to find a way to limit what Sacramento's going to be able to do from the 3-point line. Sacramento shot 40% from 3. De'Aaron Fox is unguardable at this point. I mean, 38 points once again. Swiper, he's just popping off, man. I mean, he almost damn near had a double-double with 9 rebounds, but I'm going to put caution into the wind here because the Kings played so well, and the fact that it came down to the final shot, this going back to Sacramento, It leads me to believe this series is going to 7 because it just who's going to be able to win on the road is going to dictate this series, obviously, because it goes one in Sacramento, one obviously left in Golden State, and then one back in Sacramento if it decides to go back. This is going to be pivotal. The Warriors, in order to make a run, or should I say make a statement, have to find a way to win game 5. Stephen A made a very good point. The pressure is 100% on Sacramento. Young, inexperienced, just lost 2 in a row. Will that cast, will that team, that core be able to bounce back and say, you know what, we got to take control of this series again. We got 2 games left at home. We can do this. Or will the veteran prowess, the veteran leadership, the experience of the Warriors say, you know what, this is how we're going to take this back. This is how we compete to try to go back to back in terms of championships. And I think Golden State finds a way to take 5, but we'll see what happens. This game was great. Everybody was scoring. It was going back and forth. And I think Kyle and I talked about this as well. De'Aaron Fox is emerging as a superstar. This is his first playoff series, and he is absolutely dominating. Put some respect on the clutch player of the year.
Yeah, you stole my thunder on this one, dude. Honestly, there's not really much I could add to it. The main point that I'm going to take away from this game is, Golden State wins by the skin of their teeth. But that's not the main point. My main point is, dude, the Kings are here. Granted, I know they are probably a couple years away from any sort of championship aspirations. These dudes are here. When it came to Golden State, they left the door open for the Kings to take advantage at the end of the game. And just the Kings couldn't capitalize on the last second shot. So, and that was despite the fact that I thought that Curry played well. I thought the fact that Klay Thompson was knocking down some shots. Andrew Wiggins was getting some good shots in there as well. I mean, they pushed Golden State to the brink. So, even though they fell short in this game, I'm actually going to disagree with all of the pressure being on the Kings for Game 5. I actually think it's on Golden State because when it comes to Golden State, everybody knows that they can't win on the road whatsoever. And even if they were to win Game 6, they'd still have to go on the road again for a potential Game 7, knowing that they can't win on the road. The record speaks for itself this year. We're one of the worst teams in the NBA on the road this year, probably the worst. You'd have to fact check me on that one. I may have that one wrong, but they're definitely in like the
third worst on the road.
They're bottom of the barrel bad. I'll just leave 100%. It at that. And my thing is, the one point that we made about this series before it even started, would Golden State be able to win one of these road games in Sacramento? At this point, they haven't. I think, to me, all the pressure is on Golden State to win Game 5 because there's no guarantee that if they force a Game 7, that they can win that game. Their record this year indicates that. Their style of play indicates that. They're a great team at home. They're one of the best teams at home in the NBA. But on the road, it's like they're a completely different team. They just can't execute. Weird. They can't execute at the level that they can at home on the road. It's really, really weird. And I think a lot of this just has to do with the fact that it seems like when they're at home, their defensive intensity, just the pressure that they bring to opposing offenses, seems to be heightened. And it seems as if offensively they can get it going on the road, but when they need a critical stop on the defensive side, they just can't get it. And I think in this series, the one person that has been giving them fits the entire time has been De'Aaron Fox. They don't have an answer for him. And the fact that they were able to contain him in that third quarter, but in the fourth quarter, he just took off. He's giving them all that they can handle. And I'll be honest with you, dude. I think if Kevin Huerter was performing even 25% better than what he's been this series, I think the Kings, would be going back to Sacramento for Game 5, potentially wrap up this series. I mean, Kevin Huerter has really been the one player for them that has fallen completely short. You have Keegan Murray, who's the rookie, and balled out in Game 4. Dropped almost 25 points. Was knocking down 3-point shots when given the opportunity to. But Kevin Huerter scored 2 points. He just looks like he's completely out of sorts this whole series. And, another thing that when it comes to these games, especially when it's like a 1-point or 2-point game, Kevin's the free throws. I know this is something that maybe we didn't discuss a lot about, but when it comes to these free throws, had the Kings made all of their free throws, that's a 2-point win. I mean, granted, they shot 83% from the free throw line. That's pretty good. But even De'Aaron Fox, I think, missed a free throw or
Yeah,
two in this game.
Monk and Fox missed one. Yeah.
So, when the margin of error is this slim against
Actually,
a
I am incorrect. De'Aaron missed two, and Lyles missed one. Yeah,
De'Aaron makes
De'Aaron
both of
missed
his free
two.
throws. De'Aaron makes both of those free throws. He gets a 40 bomb and a 1-point win, potentially.